Since the panel is about core issues and university support for international research collaborations, for me, and coming again from the perspective of where I am right now, I think a strong partnership starting off between whatever office is in charge of international and whatever office is in charge of research is critical to it, because both pieces need to come together. I don't feel enough resides in one or the other to be able to move international research collaborations to the next level.
I'll use my last statement to pose a question to John. John, you started us this morning talking about your project, and the goal of the project, as I understood it, was to look at the core elements for research collaboration. That was probably 4 years ago. Could you close when it gets down to you at the end here? Do you think the direction is positive? What conclusions do you draw from what you've heard today compared to what you've been working on for the last 4 or 5 years?
I think I would like to close by bridging a bit from what Marisa was.
Super Bowl.
No, we're still open here.
My question wasn't that bad.
No, it was fine.
Is this the football game last night? Bob?
Yes.
Yes.
Bridging from what Marisa was just saying, I think there were comments from several of you that spoke about the most successful programs of internationalization are grassroots and the most enduring. And, I'd like to add that I think our students, our graduate students, our undergraduate students are also really important parts of that grass, and I think, for example, as I just saw as I looked at my morning email from campus, our undergraduates are having their annual international symposium. And the most effective spokespeople to propagate internationalization of our campus amongst our undergrads are the undergrads who've gone before, right? So this is peer-to-peer. And I realize, as you were saying that, Marisa, we do that pretty well at the undergrad level. We do not at the graduate level. And so you've inspired me to think about learning from our undergrad experience and having those graduate students help us further internationalize our campus by their own experiences and efforts. That kind of peer-to-peer, deeper grassroots, I think, could be important to add on.
I'd like to close with the comment, building upon the comment of our UCLA colleague about preaching to the choir. And I guess I hadn't thought about us doing that, but maybe we're doing a little bit of it. And in that light, I wanted to pose a challenge to the group and to ourselves over the next day or so, and that is, can we craft that paragraph that you have asked for? I think it'd be pretty challenging, keeping some of the colleagues I have in mind, something that would sort of persuade them. But if that's something that we can do, at lunch or dinner, that would be a fun thing to do. See if we had it in us. Yeah. To put that together, because when it comes down to it, there's a lot of work preaching to the non-choir that we need to do. And finally, in response to your first comment about how do you make something work, I'm hoping that we will hear more from our colleague from Florida to find out how university promotion and tenure and college tenure and promotion committees, how deans, how provosts at your own institution are dealing with these new items. Item 22, I remember that in your application.
My last word is to you. Please keep good case studies of all what you do. And our center would be absolutely happy, put them together and put a publication out. We only learn through case studies and then we're not reinventing. And you do a lot. And you heard today, we learn from promising practice. I never will say best, because otherwise we think we don't need to adapt them. So it's promising practice. And we learn from mistakes. So please collect them, have good case studies, and if you want, send them to us.
And at next year's conference, we can come together
That's
and
right.
review the case.
Excellent.
So John had the first word, and now he'll have the last word.
Yeah, I'll comment on the question that Jim put. I believe I got it right. After several years since the NAS conference and over a career of over 30 years of my own experience in this, what do I see? Yeah. First of all, and I don't mean to be cynical, the question about graduates and undergrads was asked as early as 1978, I recall. And the question of rank and tenure has been on the table since 1982, I believe. That's not to say it's wrong. It's to say that we constantly need to revisit this. This is not static. It's a moving target. It changes with generation after generation. So we need to keep looking at it. But don't think it's not been done before. Our job is to keep it alive and keep it going. I'm extremely optimistic as I look around because our job is to have the dialogue, to have the conversation, to reinvent the thinking, to go forward back to our universities and to try and make change. We cannot afford to be static. We're the international voice, and we have to go out there and try and get people to hear it and see it. The world is getting smaller in many ways, and America is not at the center of the universe anymore. We have to live with that, and we have to prepare ourselves for that. And we need to work in collaboration with partners from around the world. That's all I can say. I'm very optimistic.